What's going on, peeps? Am I giving away my age by using the word peeps, or do people still say that? I'm going to say it. Hope you guys are doing well. I am Aubrey Whitley. This is my channel. Today, we're going to talk about building muscle, one of my favorite topics. And a lot of times on this channel, I talk about, getting aligned with who you truly are, stepping into the highest version of yourself, a lot of mindset tricks and just life tricks. This video is going to be a little more nerdy as far as techniques to build muscle. At the end of this video, I'm going to share my philosophy on this lifestyle of all out bulking, bodybuilding. So look at it like this. You're exploring as you watch this video. You're seeing what fits for you, what you honestly think you can commit to. And then at the end, I'm just going to give you an overview of the traps I've seen people fall into, that I myself have fallen into, trying to become a stronger version of myself physically. So that way you know what you want to do moving forward. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, take what you need from this video and leave the rest. Leave a comment or question if you have it in the comments below. And if you get value from this, like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You just got to hit a little button and it helps my channel. So that way I can make more of these and more people get help. So without further ado, let's jump into these 5 concepts for muscle building. If you're not doing one of these right now, you will make progress if you implement it. Again, stay till the end because I'm going to go over just my philosophy on this lifestyle of full-on bulking. But again, if you reach this plateau and you can't quite get through this level of strength you're at, and you're really wanting to break through, follow these guidelines, it will make a difference. So without further ado, let's jump into number 1. Keep your training mundane. A lot of people want to switch up their training from week to week. You want to do something new every few weeks. I get it. You get bored. But if you really, really want to break through your strength plateaus, you have got to make sure that you're increasing tension on your muscles over time. Your brain is going to tell you you can't do more reps, but when you've logged your numbers, you've logged your reps, you've logged the weight that you're using on the exact same exercise that you did a week before and the exact same order you did them in, you can tell your brain, we can do one more rep this week. So you can't lie to yourself that way. Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping training interesting and switching it up from time to time. But what I'm saying is if you're tired of plateauing and you want to break through and build new muscle, it'll get to the point where you have got to log your numbers and use progressive overload training, basically. Now, I'm not saying for years even you can't make some progress and build new muscle using other modalities, but I am saying that if you've hit a wall and you're like, I don't know what to do, I just can't seem to add on a little extra muscle, dial it in. Do the same routine week in and week out. Keep your exercises in the same order. Log everything. And that way, you know beyond all reasonable doubt that you're putting more tension on your muscles every week, thus creating new muscle tissue. So that's the first one. And I'm actually going to drop a video in here of me doing hack squats with my first coach. I put on more muscle that season than I ever have in my whole career. And I want to show you what this kind of training looks like, because from the moment you hit your first rep on a working set, it should be hard. Most people aren't willing to train this way because it's uncomfortable and you have to constantly be uncomfortable. You can take a week of deloading where you just kind of let your nervous system rest a little bit. If you've been going 10 weeks hard and you're just feeling worn down, take a deload week where you just go to the gym, you get a little pump, you still keep your food high, but maybe you're not pushing as hard as you'll see I am in this video. But other than a deload week, your training to really build new muscle needs to be really dialed in. Not at first. If you're just starting, you can literally go start picking up weights and you'll make progress. But at some point, those newbie gains don't last. You won't keep making gains. At that point, you've got to do something that most people aren't willing to do. If you don't want to look like most people, you've got to do what most people aren't willing to do. So think about that when you're thinking about adding new muscle. So check out this video. This is me and Liv Roth, my first coach, and check out the intensity on this.
All right, let's go. Let's go, come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on, let's go, push. Yes, let's go. Give yourself that, 2, let's go. Come on. Up, up, let's go, come on. Let's go. Up, up. Yep, you ain't down, let's go. Up, push. Let's go, come on. Up. Yep, come on. Let's go. Up, push. One more. Up. Yeah, one more. Let's go. Knees together, let's go. Push. Yeah.
So as you can see, I was ready to be finished by rep 1. It is hard from the very first rep. That's the intensity that you need to be bringing if you are 100% into building new muscle and you've been doing this for a while. It should all be hard. Now, you might disagree and say, well, that's too hard on your body. Put a deload week in there. But I'm giving you guidance on breaking through plateaus you haven't broken through yet. So, I mean, this is extreme, which is part of my philosophy that I'm going to get to at the end. So hold out. But as you can see, it's intense. Now I'm going to show you one more video, and this is when I was channeling a lot of stress going on in my life. And that's the other thing, is it's a pretty powerful feeling when you can take things in your life that you really don't have control over and accept that and then channel it through your training. You will have a supernatural power in your training if you learn how to take things that frustrate you during the day and leave it in the gym and push it through your weight training. You will get stronger than other people. So I'm going to show you this next video, and this is when I had a lot of stuff coming up in my life and I was essentially channeling my trauma through my training. I'm not saying that you should not get outside help if you have stuff going on. I'm not saying that this is the end all, that this is going to solve all your problems. But I am saying that if you're very stressed or you're going through something very emotionally heavy, that is not the time to skip the gym. That is the time to channel that into your training and allow your body to release that trauma, to release that stress. Your brain's going to tell you different. Your brain's going to say, I don't want to go train. I don't want to move my body. You need to release that. So you'll notice a lot of this is about mastering your mind. Your brain is not in control. You are. Your brain is the program. You, your true self, you are the programmer. So you're in charge. Check out this next video, then we'll move on. So essentially a crazy person, right? Just kidding. But that's the intensity you want to bring. And so you might have noticed that was a reel I made a while back, and I made a point in there that a person who is aiming for balance in their life, they're not going to be willing to do that, truly. I'll have people sometimes that will say they want to do a show or they want to do an extreme bulk. They want to go all out into a bulk season. And I tell them it's going to throw you off balance if you're not already off balance. This isn't something to do a all out 100% grow bulk season. You will be off balance in your life, but I'll get to more of that in the end. Okay, so second point, keep cardio in perspective. It's okay to do cardio. Cardio is great. It's great for your heart. It's great for your conditioning, but you don't want to do any extra than what you have to. So here's my rule I would give you. Make sure your cardio health is good enough to where you don't run out of breath before your muscles give out. I wouldn't do any more than that during a growth season, personally. So if you get to, say you have an 8 to 10 rep set and you are so out of breath that you feel like you're going to pass out, but your muscles could keep going, you got to increase the cardio a little bit. But other than that, don't do extra for your growth season. I'm not saying in the future you can't pick it back up again, but we're talking about adding lean muscle tissue. You really want to do all you can to not be eating into muscle tissue at the same time. And it's easy to do that with cardio, especially women. Let's talk about this for a second. We have a lot of messages thrown at us through the media, a lot of propaganda for a long time about how we should look, how we should be thin, or how we should be conditioned, and you want to see your abs all the time. Try not to listen to those messages if you're trying to really stack on muscle, because really you're not going to see your six pack. Like you're not going to have veins in your abs and see all your abs when you're in the middle of a growth season. It's not going to be like that. So you got to get that out of your head. You can't want to look your most impressive when you're in the middle of a growth season. That's one works against the other. So you can't want to see all your abs and see all your cuts and look all diced up and lean at the same time that you're prioritizing bulking. It won't. One works against the other, which is why I say know yourself. Know what you can mentally handle. And we'll get to that in the next one. Number 3, you have to have some fat on your body. Now, I'm not saying you have to have an unhealthy amount of fat. Sometimes people go way extreme in the bulk, and you don't need to add unnecessary fat to your body, but you need to get comfortable with having some fat on your body. Again, you shouldn't look diced up on your stomach. I will say this, when you go in and out of grow cuts, go into these different seasons, you will get to a point years into this where you will look more lean in the middle of a bulk. But especially if this is your very first like all out bulk, you're gonna look soft. That's what you're supposed to do. So try to get all those messages out of your head that you should look a certain way and think about your end goal. Think about what you're doing this season. Look at it like a game. You want to add as much muscle as you can. You want to get as strong as you can. Anything that comes in the way of that has to go. And one of those things that will get in the way is you wanting to look really lean. So just know what you want. If you really want to stack on muscle, then you're going to have to go through a phase where you're softer. So let's talk about the benefits of having fat on your body. I'm passionate about this because I think women are so hard on themselves a lot of times, and we've been given so many messages that we shouldn't have fat on our bodies. Look, we should. We absolutely should. It is so optimal for hormone health, for muscle recovery, for the function of our muscles, for sleep. So, I mean, the list goes on, but you can look at it as like having enough fat in your body is like a spark plug for building muscle. Am I saying that right? It's like being able to lock you in, plug you in to be able to build muscle. It is absolutely necessary. Because without it, your body's going to be in starvation mode, which means you're actually going to look soft and not even be that conditioned anyway. When your body's in starvation mode, it's going to prioritize holding fat instead of adding muscle because it's trying to keep you alive. So having a healthy amount of fat on your body will keep your body out of starvation mode. You're going to have better energy when you train. So you're going to be able to push more weight. You're going to be able to recover faster. And you're also going to be able to, along with the lines of repair faster, muscle recovery. That's just as important as breaking down your muscle tissue to grow. It has to be able to recover. So if you don't have enough body fat on you for that to recover, then you're just going to stay where you're at. It's going to be hard to add new muscle. So get comfortable with having a healthy amount of fat on your body. That's number 3. Let's move on to number 4. Food. You shouldn't be hungry, like ever, in your growth season. You should be able to eat without getting a bellyache, of course, without force feeding yourself. Well, you might feel like you're force feeding yourself sometimes, but you should be eating like a machine. So just to give you a frame of reference, in my greatest bulk season, after a few years of getting my body conditioned, I was eating 400 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs, and 100 grams of fat, whole food, per day. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just saying you'll get your body conditioned to where you can handle more food, you can digest it effectively. Food should be a top priority. Most people don't struggle with overeating. Most people struggle with not eating enough. So you've got to be eating like a machine. As a coach, this is something I help people with. So if you don't know where to put your carbs, where to put your fats throughout the day, I'm more than happy to help you with that. Just leave a comment below. And I will say, other than getting those reps that are so hard to get in the gym, the food is the hardest part for most people. You're going to have to eat when you don't feel like eating. And like I said, you'll have to be a machine. So you got to plan your food ahead of time. You've got to be on a schedule with your eating day in and day out. Now, number 5, the last point I'm going to make for this video is rest. So often, those of us who want to really build muscle, get really strong, we want to go train every single day because, yes, training moves us towards that goal. But you've got to think of rest and recovery as being just as important as training. Think about this visual. Your muscles, when you're training, all that muscle tissue starts to break down and get destroyed. So those fibers have got to be able to rebuild if they're going to continue expanding. So if you're just continuously breaking them down and breaking them down and breaking them down, it's more like this. But if you give them time to rest, you break them down, you break them down. When they rest, this is what they do. They repair themselves. But the cool thing is, every time they repair themselves, they get bigger. So if you're doing this correctly, then when you break down that muscle tissue and then you have a rest day, you break down that muscle tissue, you have the rest day. Every time you're resting, since you've put more tension on your muscles time and time again, they're going to grow bigger. They're going to adapt. This is what happens. Your muscles adapt because they're thinking, she's going to put me under stress again. I better adapt and get stronger. That's how it works. It's like muscles have mind of their own. So if you teach your muscles that every time you go train, you're going to be adding more resistance, they will continue to adapt and get stronger and stronger, thus grow. So I hope those 5 points helped. I'm going to get into my philosophy real quick. If you have comments or questions at this point, leave them below. And let me leave you with this. I do not blame you if you watch this video and you think, you know what? I didn't realize the sacrifice it takes to really do a full out bulk, full out grow season. I think it might take me a little longer than I was thinking to add on some significant muscle, and I'm okay with that. I respect that if that's your thought, because we don't know until we know. I've had women who sign up and, they'll tell me, I want to bulk, I want to add all this on, not realizing the mental part of it and how you've got to see yourself bigger than maybe you're comfortable with and softer than maybe you're comfortable with. You don't know until you know. So you might have also watched this video and thought, bring it on. Bring it on. I don't care if I get a little soft. I'm 100% in this, which keep me posted on how it goes. And keep in mind, I am taking on clients. So if you want to dig your heels in one way or the other, maybe you want to do a body recomp, or maybe you want to do a full out bulk grow season, send me a message. Aubrey the Sculpting Coach on Instagram, or just Aubrey Whitley on Facebook. You're welcome to leave a comment below here. But this is my philosophy. This can be like a game. And I think that we can get ourselves in trouble when this becomes our purpose in life, or what makes us worthy in life. That's a better way of putting it. This shouldn't be what makes you worthy to yourself. If how you're performing in the gym or how you're looking is what you're building your self-worth on, you get in trouble, because you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have moments where you don't make the progress that you thought, or your schedule gets thrown off. And you've got to keep what you're doing with your body in perspective. So I like to think about it like a game. Yes, it's my health, it's my life, I get that. But when I get so wrapped up in my progress, I get so hard on myself that I lose my self-worth. And a lot of you are the same way. You get so tunnel vision on making progress that you stop enjoying the process. My philosophy is this should be hard but fun. So if this is literally making your life a living hell, you've got to reassess what this means to you, because you don't have to do any of this to be a person worthy of love, to be a person worthy of good things. So keep your self-worth out of it. But this can be a lot of fun and build a lot of your self-confidence when you show up day after day and keep a promise to yourself and take on the challenge of how far can I push it? How strong can I get? Make it a game, make it fun. It's not life or death, it's something you're choosing to do. So pay attention to the way you're talking. If you catch a narrative saying, oh, I hate doing this, oh, like I have to do this, catch that. You don't have to, you get to. This is a choice. And so it's like show prep. You know, a lot of people, when they do their first show prep, they realize they don't like it. It's making them miserable. It's not for them. It's not for them. But when you have somebody who is embracing the challenge, who is really enjoying the hard, it's probably a great sport for them. So think about that going into your growth season when you're trying to build muscle. Keep it in perspective. Look at it kind of like a game with yourself, but also understand that it's going to build your confidence if you stick with it, because you're going to prove to yourself that you can keep promises you make to yourself. And if you hear me say nothing else, hear me say that you are way more than a body. You are worthy regardless what you choose to do. You're worthy of love. And leave comments below. I'm here for you. Hopefully that philosophy made sense, but I've been doing this for about almost a decade now. And when I started my journey, I threw myself into bodybuilding, and I was a very imbalanced person. I had just gotten out of rehab. I had a lot of mental health issues. I just wanted to know that I was going to be okay. So for me, this started as a way to help me keep promises to myself, control myself, and give me a routine to parent myself at first. So I was already coming from a place of being way off balance. Over time, I've gotten to more of a place of balance, which is why I don't compete anymore. I don't have this drive and this need to be in the gym for 2 hours a day. So honestly, ask yourself where you're at and ask yourself, do you want to be thrown off balance a little bit for the challenge? Or do you want to keep some balance in your life and maybe grow at a slower pace, but still make some gains? I hope this helped. Leave your comments below. I love you guys, and I will catch you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.